What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Social media is a trip. Social media is a bona fide trip, man. Before I get into this video, I want to say respects to Compton Rick Rock. Shout out to Compton Rick Rock. I just saw a video, him reacting to Poetic Flaco. Shout out to Poetic Flaco. Compton Rick Rock was responding to a video that Poetic Flaco made about what really happened to Tory Lanez. And I know there's going to be people that are going to be like, come on, Dubs, another Tory Lanez video? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why is I'm listening to this stuff and I'm telling you none of it makes sense. And I know the game, you know, as content creators, when there's a hot topic, you want to hit that topic as much as you can, as often as you can. Whenever something new pops up, hey, boom, you know. But where's the integrity? And I'm not knocking Compton Rick Rock. He's reacting to Poetic Flaco, who's reacting to a phone call that Spider Loc got or made to somebody that's supposedly on the yard where it happened. But Poetic Flaco said that he also spoke with some people. I was going to react to their stuff, but I don't know how they would respond to me reacting. So I'm just going to talk about it. And you guys go check out Compton Rick Rock's video or Poetic Flaco's video or both of them. And anyone who has been to prison in California will be scratching their head the majority of the time at both videos. So the phone call between Spider Loc and the other dude, it said that the Mexicans hit Tory Lanez, right? And when Spider Loc asked him, where was everybody at? He said, well, he's on a tier with nothing but Mexicans. That's strange. That's very strange. That doesn't sound like a GP yard. I'm just saying, for him to be, and he didn't have a cellie? Like, where was he going? How was he out of the cell? I don't know. 7 a.m. is usually like work release around that time, school release. And there was no other blacks around. Only Mexicans. And so, according to Poetic Flaco, Tory Lanez runs that yard. And it's because Tory Lanez has so much money and he's putting a bag on people if people get out of line with them. How are you making videos about him getting stabbed by one person then? Like, we got to use common sense. Common sense ain't all that common, man. But so we're to believe that Tory Lanez, whose net worth is $1 million, by the way. If you look it up, I'll put it up. His net worth is worth $1 million, and people in prison are jealous of him because he has money? Huh? So let's look at it from two angles. Let's say he's on a GP yard, okay? We'll start there. Let's say he's on a GP yard. On a GP yard, the Mexicans are under an umbrella and are not allowed to just go off on their own and do something because there are other people making money. And when you go on lockdown, lockdowns affect money. It affects those people's ability to make money, do their thing, whatever their hustle is. So you mean to tell me that something was decided and it was because the guy has money? So people are going to send people to hit someone and stop their own money because somebody else has money? Doesn't work that way. If anything, you'd be wanting to sell weed to that dude. Stay away from like the hard drugs. You'd want him. I'll tell you, one of Snoop Dogg's homies, Reese Cup. That dude bought a lot of weed off me. You find dudes that you know, hey, I can interact with this dude and it won't be a problem. And you make your money. So how is it that he's on a GP yard and one Mexican by himself moves on him? Because he has money. That part makes no sense. Now, put him on an S&Y or a 50-50 yard. It makes sense that one dude moved by himself and there weren't really any blacks around him. Okay? In the video, Poetic Flaco said that for Christmas, Tory Lanez made sure everyone went to canteen, all the blacks. Every yard I was on, the blacks, there was hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds. But let's go ahead and play along with the narrative. So he made sure that all of the blacks went to canteen. And Rick Rock said that he would have stood out as an asset and been targeted. Suge Knight, when he was incarcerated, had way more money than Tory Lanez and was buying people TVs and other stuff, and nobody ever thought, hey, let's whack that dude, right? But again, if he's buying stuff for his people, that's nobody else's business but his and his people. I talked about in Pelican Bay, prior to the riot, there was this humongous black dude there. He was from the Bay Area. Super duper duper baller. Not one Mexican gave a fuck about that. But when he was raping his young black Sally, everybody was lining up. When that riot was gearing up, everybody was like, I want that dude for what he did, for what he's doing. Nobody cared about his money. During the lockdown, the Bay Area dude was talking bad to all the LA dudes, talking about you guys are all broke, gangbangers, don't got shit, because he was in a cell by himself at that point. And we're all locked down. He was saying he could put a full draw on every one of them's books and not even feel it. Not one Mexican gave a damn. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I don't think people understand what the Mexicans, there's protocols. I don't see any way where Tory Lanez was. I don't know. You know, prison is different. I've been out for 8 years. But I just don't see. I don't see anything written like GP written on that hit. I don't. It's going to come out. In the next day or two, it'll come out. More details will emerge. And it could be because people are telling me, man, there's blacks calling from that yard and it's a GP yard. It may be for the blacks, but it may be a 50-50 yard for everyone else. The blacks and the others, probably it's a GP. And maybe for the whites and the Mexicans, it's 50-50. Different factions have different rules, different protocols. I just think it's crazy how people are trying to make it's a race thing. And you know, the dudes that Spider-Lo talked to that are on that yard, they said it's going to go down. Well, it's up and we're going to press play as soon as the yard comes up. Why would that be put on? I'm speaking on what they put out there. Why would they put that out there? You know, normally a lot of times people will try to be like, nah, it's all good, man. You know, that fool, he ain't even from California. And then you want to catch your enemy slipping the way they caught Tory Lanez slipping. Doesn't make sense. And Poetic Flaco said that this was like a cowardly move How? It was a hit in prison, the way hits in prison go down. The people that get hit in prison, they usually know something happened, or they should know something happened, and there's danger around them and should be on their toes. Tory Lanez is not a thug. He's not a gangster. He's a musician. He's an artist. Poetic Flacco said that Tory Lanez has excelled as a convict. He's running the yard and he's putting bags on people. I mean, the most ridiculous things a person can say about a California prison. But I get it. Poetic Flacco's never been to prison. Compton Rick Rock has. And so Compton Rick Rock made a good point that it is, hitting somebody on their way to chow, is a good idea because it's limited to how many people are on the movement. But chow's at 6, 5:30, 5:45, 6. It's not at 7. I mean, it could have been a delay, who knows, but I don't know, man. It could have been pill call. It could have been work release. It could have been school education release. But Tory Lanez being a target because he has money makes 0 sense. There's other things that make sense, like I said earlier. Disrespect, especially if he's on a yard where the Mexican's on that yard. And I still don't know if it was a Mexican. The guy that called in, he said it was, so let's roll with that. Okay? If the Mexicans on that yard are considering that yard a 50-50, then they're programming according to their own rules. Maybe that guy was jealous. It's absolutely foreign to me. I think something happened. Something had to have occurred between Tory Lanez and that dude. Or a very good possibility is it's a EOP dude. It's a guy that's on medication, a guy that's not all there, and sees Tory Lanez and in his mind concocted this whole scenario where he had to get him. That's a possibility. Tehachapi has all 4 seasons. Tehachapi is not a joint that gets super hot, so the EOPs can be there. That's like enhanced outpatient program or some shit like that is what it's called. And it's guys that they take medication, what's called hot meds. And, those guys can snap. So that's why I'm usually on the level 4s, on the 180 yards, they don't allow those guys on the yard because they become a threat. And it's not that they want to be a threat. It's they're not all there. Anyways, I just wanted to give my reaction, my response to the video that Poetic Flacco, Spider Loke, and Compton Rick Rock did. Their variations of the same video talking who they talked about. To me, it makes no sense. And I know a lot of people, if you just go over there and go ahead and check out the one that Compton Rick Rock did, because it's a condensed version of the Poetic Flacco, so you're getting both videos at once. And let me know in the comments. Does any of that make sense? Especially if you're Raza, even blacks that have been around. How does that make sense? That another faction wants to move on one dude and drag everybody in the yard into something because he's got money. Everybody that's making money on the Mexican side is not going to make any money because of that lockdown. And then the riot, if there's a riot or whatever happens, and this could take a year or 2 years. None of it makes sense. But that's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.